Oh, oh,
Recording in progress. Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
We'll observe a moment of silent prayer or meditation. Thank you. You may be seated. Honorable delegates, welcome to this afternoon's sitting, and I would like to remind delegates that the rules, in particular sub-rules 21, 22, and 23 of Rule 103 would apply. Honorable delegates, before we proceed, I'd like to welcome all permanent delegates who are here. If there are any MECs that have joined us, all special delegates and SALGA representatives who might be in the House or on the virtual platform. Today, there'll be no motions or motions without notice. Honorable delegates, we now proceed to the first order, that is the consideration of the Public Sector Pension and Related Payments Bill, B3 of 2025, and the report of the Select Committee on Appropriations thereon that was ATC'd on the 9th of July, 2025. I now call upon the Honorable Lekwase, the Chairperson of the Select Committee on Appropriations, to present the committee reports. Honorable Lekwase, you have 10 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, honorable members, permanent and special delegates, fellow South Africans, good afternoon. Honorable Deputy Chairperson, it is my privilege to table before this August House the report of the Select Committee on Appropriations on the Pension Sector, Pension and Related Payments Bill, which is Bill 3 of 2025. Section 213, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa provides that money may be withdrawn from the National Revenue Fund only in terms of an appropriation by an act of Parliament or as direct charge against the fund, when so provided by the Constitution or by legislation. Honorable Deputy Chair, with the exception of the Umkhonto weSizwe Party, the committee unanimously adopted the report, following the referral of the bill from the National Assembly to the NCOP on the 24th of June, 2025. The committee received a briefing from the National Treasury and engaged with both Financial and Fiscal Commission and the Parliamentary Budget Office in line with Section 4, subsection 4C of the Money Bills and Related Matters Act of 2009. In fulfillment of Section 72, subsection 1 and 2 of the Constitution, the committee ensured that public participation was duly conducted. To this end, advertisements calling for public submissions were published on parliamentary website and in print media in all 11 official languages in accordance with Section 13, subsection 2A of the Money Bills Act. Honorable members, the committee received public submissions from the Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU, who also made an oral presentation to the committee on the 25th of June, 2025. Key observations of the committee and the following recommendations were made. The National Treasury should submit to Parliament a detailed breakdown of 43.3 billion allocated for public sector pensions and related payments, including estimates for each liability category such as military pensions, medical subsidies, and early retirement provisions during the adjustment budget process in October 2025. The National Treasury should, within the next budget cycle, develop a long-term funding and liability management strategy. This should outline steps to contain the growth of pension-related liabilities and ensure sustainability over the medium to long-term expenditure framework. Transparent reporting mechanisms should be introduced, including mandatory annual actuarial assessments and expenditure tracking per beneficiary group. And any early retirement incentives should be informed by a comprehensive workforce planning analysis to ensure that critical institutional knowledge and skills are retained and that financial implications are properly managed. We further recommended that within 60 days of the adoption of this report by the House, the National Treasury should develop a mechanism to review the sustainability of post-retirement medical aid and military pensions, assessing their fairness, affordability, and alignment with demographic and fiscal realities. A clear governance and accountability framework should be established for all allocation under this bill, including performance indicators, audit mechanisms, and clear lines of responsibility. The National Treasury should undertake a formal review to address historical disparities in post-retirement benefits. The outcomes of this process should be presented to Parliament in the next budget cycle and must be informed by a consultation with affected groups and aligned with the fiscal equity principles. A periodic public report should be tabled assessing a long-term fiscal impact of various pension reforms, along with recommendations to address any unintended consequences. Honorable members, we further recommended that all long-term liabilities funded under this bill should be subject to independent actuarial audits every 3 years. The results should be presented to Parliament to support effective oversight and risk management. The above obligations should be managed within a comprehensive and coherent fiscal policy framework that safeguards social spending and investments while meeting legal pension commitments. In conclusion, Honorable Deputy Chairperson, I wish to express my sincere appreciation to the committee members, the stakeholders, members of the public, and the committee staff for their invaluable contributions. The committee therefore recommends that the Public Sector Pension and Related Payments Bill, which is Bill 3 of 2025, be adopted without amendments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ekwase. Honorable members, before we proceed to voting, I shall allow political parties an opportunity to make their declarations in terms of Rule 78 if they so wish. And each will be given a time limit of 3 minutes. I've been informed that we have a declaration to be made by the Honorable Ngomalo. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. My humble greetings to your good self and all other members present here and those who are on virtual. Chairperson, the Public Sector Pension and Related Payment Bill, its aim is to provide certain public sector pension, post-retirement, medical and other pension-related benefit under legislation and collective agreement are direct charges against the National Revenue Fund. And it also provides for matters incidental thereof. The African National Congress recognized this milestone as a step to the right direction. We are of the view that the bill is in line with our transformation agenda. Chiefly, the bill will ensure that pension and post-retirement medical benefit, those who are linked with the pre-1994 pension scheme, are treated as direct charges against the National Revenue Fund. The bill also ensures that government appreciates historical agreement and addresses injustice linked with them, including addressing issues of people who have been in the employment of the state but were not allowed to contribute. Chairperson, moreover, the bill will also open a window for more than just an inclusive way, as it allowed the Minister of Finance to update the schedule of benefit in line with the new law or collective agreement. The ANC is in support of the bill because it promises to offer dignity to people who serve the state, undo past injustices, and advance the goal of a national democratic revolution. We are in support as the African National Congress. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ngomalo. We now have the second declaration, and that's from the Honorable Makasini.
Thank you, Deputy Chairperson. The Public Sector Pension and Related Payment Bill seeks to make easier for the government to pay pensions and medical bills to the retired public servants and the government employees. Instead of using the National Treasury budget, this payment will now be made direct to the NRF, the Central Account Government Funds. The EFF, we can agree that the certain public sector pension, post-retirement and medical aid, and other pension that related to the benefits must be guaranteed and that there should not be direct change against the National Revenue Fund. These are legitimate entitlements that must not be left vulnerable to shifting the political and budget priorities. However, we are concerned about the growing tendency of legislating by gazette and the continual powers being given to the Minister of Finance and the Treasurer. We have over the years allowed the ministers of the Finance and the National Treasurer to accumulate far too much authority, with the Parliament simply only expect to approve this decision and after effects. This is not how the democratic state should be functioning. Parliament must not be a rubber stamp decision. It must initiate and scrutinize and amend legislation, especially when it involves the public money. We support this intention of this bill, but the Parliament must reclaim its full powers and pledge to exploit the municipality workers, not for the longest, as they were ignored for the longest time. The economic freedom fighters support this bill. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Makasini. Thank you very much, other honorable members. Let us proceed. We now go on to voting. We now go on to voting on this bill, and in terms of Section 75, all delegates will be allowed to vote by show of hand. Even the special delegates who are on the virtual platform will be allowed to cast a vote. So I would ask all delegates who are in favor to please raise your hands. Keep your hands raised until the counting has been completed. I know this might seem like exercise for you, but please keep your hands raised. Table can indicate once we can lower our hands. All right, thank you very much, honorable members. We now... Honorable members, I've been informed that there are members on the virtual platform who did not raise their hands. So I'm just asking those that are on the virtual platform, can you indicate if you're having a challenge with raising your hands or you are not voting? All right, we don't see any hands. Yes, on the virtual platform, we are still waiting for the members that are there to indicate whether you're voting in favor or not. Okay, it doesn't seem as though they are voting.
Chairperson, this is Chairperson.
Okay, Honorable Adeba, we see you now. And Honorable Sotoni.
Yes, my hand is raised for voting in favor.
Okay, you're voting in favor. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Table, are you okay with that? Right, thank you very much. We now go on to those who are voting against. Sorry.
Sorry, Chair. I just want to table whether to confirm that the Eastern Cape, because the Eastern Cape, they have already told me that they were trying to raise their vote. It's Tony and Mr. Ziwa. They were told.
No, thank you very much, Inkos. But we can't take that as being a vote. So those two members that are on the platform, they can do what Honorable Radebe has done and vote by voice so that we can hear them and record their vote. If they're having a difficulty with raising their hands, we'll give them a few seconds.
My apologies, sir. I did raise my hand. You also indicated that I raised my hand. I just want to confirm. My apologies to interrupt you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Honorable Tony. Was that just that one? Thank you so much. That will be added to the total. Now we move on to those who are voting against. Do we have anybody voting against? You're only allowed to raise one hand. Okay, counting is done. You may lower your hands. Any abstentions? I don't see any abstentions in the House on the virtual platform.
Chair, my hand was raised.
Oh, okay. So that's 4. 4 against, yeah. Thank you. All right, so we have the results, and the results are as follows. In favor, there were 38 and against 4. All right, the voting is now closed, and we move on to the next order, and that is the consideration of the Marine Oil Pollution Preparedness Response Cooperation Bill, B10 of 2022, and the report on the Select Committee on Public Infrastructure and Minister in the Presidency on thereon. We now call upon the Honorable Badenhorst, who will present the committee report. Honorable Badenhorst, you have 10 minutes.
Honourable Chair, I won't need 10 minutes, but thank you very much. Honourable Deputy Chair, honourable members, fellow South Africans, it's my privilege to table the report of the Select Committee on Public Infrastructure, Minister in the Presidency on the Marine Oil Pollution, the Preparedness, Response and Cooperation Bill, B10D of 2022. The Marine Oil Pollution, Preparedness, Response and Cooperation Bill was revived in the National Council of Provinces on the 7th Parliament on 31 July 2024. The bill was referred to the Select Committee on Public Infrastructure and Minister in the Presidency in terms of Rule 118 of the National Council of Provinces rules. The objects of the bill are to give effect to the International Convention on Oil Pollution Preparedness, Response and Cooperation, 1990, and to provide for matters connected therewith. The bill provides for the processes to regulate and manage the preparedness and response to major marine oil pollution incidents at the national level, and as well as cooperation with other countries as necessary and appropriate. Areas of cooperation included are the development of contingency plans, research, training, and exercise programs. The Department of Transport briefed the Select Committee on the background and objects of the bill on the 9th of October 2024. An advert was placed in the national media calling for written submissions on the bill with a deadline of 30 November 2024. One written submission was received, being a joint submission by the Biodiversity Law Centre, SANCOP, BirdLife South Africa, the Green Connection, and Natural Justice. The aforementioned stakeholders on the 19th of February 2025 addressed the Select Committee on their joint submission, and during the same meeting, the Department provided its responses to the written and oral submissions. On the 9th of April 2025, the Select Committee considered and deliberated on provincial negotiating mandates on the bill, including the Department responses on the amendments proposed by the provinces. On the 16th of April 2025, the Select Committee deliberated on and agreed to the C list of amendments to the bill as contained in Annexure A to this report. All 9 provincial legislatures submitted final mandates on the bill, which were considered on the 1st of July 2025, and the final mandates were submitted as follows. Eastern Cape in favour of the bill, Free State in favour of the bill, Gauteng in favour of the bill, KwaZulu-Natal in favour of the bill, Limpopo in favour of the bill, Mpumalanga in favour of the bill, Northern Cape supported the bill, Northwest in favour of the bill, Western Cape supported the bill. The Select Committee on Public Infrastructure and Minister and the Presidency, having deliberated on and considered the subject of the Marine Oil Pollution, Preparedness, Response and Cooperation Bill, referred to it and classified by the JTM as a Section 76 bill, reports that it has agreed to an amended bill. It is my pleasure to be the chairperson of the Select Committee to present the first bill to be adopted in the 7th Parliament by the National Council of Provinces, and I hereby table the bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honourable Badenhorst, for your report on behalf of the committee. We have one declaration here, and that is on the Honourable Molokome.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good day to honourable members in the sitting. I nearly said on the platform. The Marine Oil Pollution Bill has the full support of the African National Congress, which is leading the government of national unity. We declare our support because every piece of legislation pertaining to marine oil pollution is essential for the health of the marine oil pollution, and also, Chair, is funded on global guidelines for its prevention and management. The bill aims to integrate the pertinent provision of the oil pollution responding and cooperation. The bill aims to integrate the pertinent provisions of oil pollution response and cooperation convention into South African laws. In regards to marine oil pollution, this will harmonize South African's legislation with international laws. This bill is based on the International Marine Organization's Convention on Oil Pollution, Responsiveness and Cooperation, which govern marine activities globally, particularly shipping. Since its reinstatement to the UN system in 1995, South Africa has been a member of this International Marine Organization, which is the IMO, and it has also held positions on the IMO Council. Additionally, port development has recognized that container ship economics of scale have led to large vessels so that they can deck at domestic ports. Since the bill is focused on protection of ocean economy and ensuring the shipping industry operates efficiently, both of which are essential to the execution of the economic reconstruction and economy. To guarantee the prevention of marine oil pollution, the department must make sure it can coordinate the risk reduction measures in order to regulate and prevent essential in handling catastrophics and convention call for the international marine oil to play a crucial coordination role. The prevention and risk reduction of marine oil pollution are
Thank you very much, Honourable Molokome. Your time has expired.
We are in support, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. We shall now proceed to voting, and the voting on this bill will be done according to provinces. And when we call upon provinces to vote, the heads of delegations must indicate whether they vote in favour, against, or abstain. I have been informed by the provincial delegate, the Honourable Billy from KwaZulu-Natal, that he is unavailable. He is undergoing some medical tests, and Honourable Kaunda will be voting on behalf of KwaZulu-Natal. All right. Out of due respect to Nkosi Nonkanyana, we'll start with the Eastern Cape.
Deputy Chairperson, honourable members, good afternoon. This is my honor and singular honor for me that the Eastern Cape Province of Legends is voting in support of the...
Thank you very much. The Free State.
Ke a leboha motlatsamodulasetulo. Freistata e vota in favor.
Thank you. We move on to Gauteng.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Gauteng in support.
Thank you. KwaZulu-Natal.
Thank you, siyabonga mphathi sihlalo. Sibonga kakhulu sisifundazwe sakwaZulu Natal esihlale sifudumele njalo. Sinesizini eyodwa ndisama kuphela. Sithi siyaweseka lo mbiko. Siyabonga.
Yabonga kakhulu. Limpopo.
Re go leboge motlatšamodulasetulo wa ntlo ya di-province or ya ntlo ya palamente e tlhokometse di-province tše senyane. Re le province ya Limpopo, province ya maswi le dinosi ya dikgerekgere, re a ithekga
Honorable member, you may vote, not make a speech. Thank you very much. Now we move on to Mpumalanga.
No, thank you very much, Mpumalanga. We are in support of.
Thank you. That's how it should be done. And now we move to Northern Cape.
Dankie, Deputy Chair. As die Noord-Kaap ondersteun ons.
Thank you. Northwest.
Thank you, Deputy Chairperson. Bukunum Pirma supports.
Thank you. Western Cape.
Dankie, ondervoorsitter. Die Wes-Kaap sal ook ondersteun.
Thank you. The voting is now closed, and I can indicate that all 9 provinces voted in favor. I therefore declare the bill to be adopted in accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable delegates, we shall now proceed to the third order, that is the consideration of the report of Select Committee on Public Petitions and Executive Undertakings on the executive undertakings made by the Minister of Water and Sanitation during the House sitting as adopted on the 4th of June 2025, and it was ATC'd on the 6th of June 2025. I now call upon the Honorable O.J. Mokai to table the committee's report for 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Chairperson. It's my great pleasure to table before you the report of the Select Committee on Public Petitions and Executive Undertakings. Chair, the Select Committee on Petitions and Executive Undertakings, having requested the Ministry of Water and Sanitation to appear before it and provide a progress report on the implementation or fulfillment of the executive undertakings made on the floor of this House on the 16th of July, report as follows. On the 16th of July, the Honorable Minister of Water and Sanitation, here referred as the Minister, made the following executive undertakings in the House. The first one was, and I quote, "We will continue to collaborate with the City of Tshwane and source clean drinking water, Hammaskral, by October this year. We will have the phase 1 completed while the Rooiwal wastewater treatment works is repaired." Close quote. The second undertaking, and I quote again, "In the Northern Cape, the department is providing the Solplaatje local municipality with water to a value of 1.5 billion rands, including providing funding to the Kimberley bulk water supply project to increase the water supply." Close quote. Then the third executive undertaking, and I quote, "In Mpumalanga, we are implementing 1.7 billion rands for the low scope regional bulk water supply, which involves construction." And the last one, which is executive undertaking number 4. And I quote again, "Everybody knows that there is no water in Machabeng municipality, in Mwate local municipality, through the Val Central water supply. We are also making those interventions." Close quote. Now, Chairperson, those are the 4 undertakings that were made by the minister last year. The concerned executive undertakings were referred to the Select Committee on Public Petitions and Executive Undertakings by the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces for it to scrutinize and subsequently report to the House on their implementation. And thereafter, on the 1st of April this year, the committee extended an invitation to the ministry to appear before it and report on the progress made in the implementation of these executive undertakings. In noting the progress report made by the Ministry in relation to the implementation of the executive undertakings under review, the committee makes the following observations and key findings. 1. Significant progress has been made in the Hammanskraal. Its water system continues to be compliant with the SNS 241, which is the drinking water specification, and safe for human consumption. 2, in the Solplaiki local municipality, the bulk water supply system not only has capacity constraints in the meeting the increasing water demands, but the Solplaiki municipality is also having to contend with frequent water disruptions caused by continued leaks or breakages and poor water quality from the water treatment works. The third one, the low scope regional bulk water supply project, the committee was assured that the completion date is achievable, but a risk exists that the completion date will not be achieved due to insufficient budget. The project may be drawn out going into additional or into the new financial year. Then the Mount-Shabing municipality, the committee was made aware that some of the infrastructure had not been operational due to vandalism and the lack of maintenance. Then for the Ngwate local municipality, intervention is progressing well, though there are challenges of limited funding and some contractors are not performing well. Chairperson, if you allow me, I'll go now to the recommendation of the committee. In noting the progress report given by the Department of Water and Sanitation concerning the implementation of the executive undertakings under the review, the committee made the following recommendation. The committee noted that the role of the department is to regulate and support the municipalities by allocating funds. Therefore, the municipalities must account for their water services function. The department must ensure that it closely monitors and assists the municipalities with their expenditure by ensuring coordination between the municipalities' finance directorate and the project management unit, and further ensuring that funding is done to reprioritize for the 2025-2026 financial year to ensure there are no delays. The municipalities funds must be scrutinized and funds must be committed to the installation of fully functional pipes and taps. While the municipality works on the installation of fully functional pipes and taps in various households, the municipalities must ensure that they supply water 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The municipalities must give communities clear timelines as to when the taps and pipes will be installed. Moreover, its relationship and communication with communities must improve by, amongst others, hosting regular mayoral imbizos and public hearings. And Chair, the last one, the committee requires a report by the Department of Water and Sanitation detailing measures put in place to ensure that the challenges are progressively resolved, and this report must be tabled to the committee within 6 months, and we have communicated that with the department. And in addition, a biannual report indicating progress made towards the progressive realization of the right to adequate water, as well as continued monitoring of the water supply. Chairperson, I must also indicate this is the first undertakings in this report, or this report dealing with undertakings from the committee in the 7th Parliament. And in closing, Chair, the committee recommends that the House adopt the report on the executive undertakings made by the Minister of Water and Sanitation and consider it for consideration and adoption. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mokai. Honorable delegates, before we proceed to voting, I shall allow provinces the opportunity to make declarations in terms of Rule 86, if they so wish. I've been informed that there is a declaration by Honorable Medupe. Honorable Medupe, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Deputy Chairperson, the ANC supports the report of the Select Committee on Public Petition and Executive Undertaking on the executive undertaking made by the Minister of Water and Sanitation. Section 27 of the South African Constitution guarantees the right to access safe, clean drinking water and dignified sanitation for everyone in the country. It is also required that the democratic government takes all reasonable steps within available resources to progressively realize this right. Section 56D of the Constitution allows Parliament to receive petition and representation from communities serving as formal grievance or complaint about poor service delivery. This esteemed House has received such petition from various communities, which we have reviewed, and the Minister has made some commitment to address their concerns.
As the African National Congress, we wish to applaud the speed in which the minister and the ministry and the department has responded to the undertaking. Before the 2024 national election, President Ramaphosa promised that this government of the seventh administration will do better, will do more, and will do it faster. And this report demonstrates that commitment. The progress made in the implementation of 4 undertakings by the department also align with the ANC-led government elevation of water and sanitation sector to the government's apex priority. Its commitment to progressively realize the right to access safe, clean drinking water for all South Africans. Water that complies with South African national standard regulation and safe for the drinking is now available in part of Hammanskraal. Significant progress has been made in the construction of Kimberley Bulk Water Supply Project, which aimed to address long-standing water supply and quality issues in Solblaki local municipality. Honorable Chairperson, as the ANC, we also commend the department for ensuring that implementation of the Loskop Regional Bulk Water Supply Project is well underway, and once completed, it will benefit 54.9 households. Ke a leboga.
Thank you very much, Honorable Madupe. There being no further declarations, we now go to voting. The question is that the report be adopted. I now call upon the heads of delegations who will be voting on behalf of their provinces to vote either in favor, against, or abstain. We shall start with the Western Cape.
The Western Cape will support, Chair.
Thank you. Northwest.
Northwest will support, Chair.
Northern Cape.
The Northern Cape will support, Chair.
Thank you. Mpumalanga.
Mpumalanga support, Chairperson.
Thank you. Limpopo.
Limpopo support.
Thank you. KwaZulu-Natal.
KZN supports, Chair.
Thank you. Gauteng.
Gauteng supports, Deputy Chair.
Thank you. Free State.
Free State, yes, Mdula Stulo.
Thank you. Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape support, Chair.
Thank you very much. The voting is now closed and all 9 provinces vote in favor. I therefore declare the report adopted in accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable delegates, we shall now proceed to the 4th order, and that is the consideration of the report of the Select Committee on Social Services that was ATC'd on the 28th of March 2025. The oversight visit to Gauteng from the 24th to the 28th of February 2025. I now call upon the Honorable Finis, the chairperson of the Select Committee on Social Services, to present the committee report. You have 10 minutes, Honorable Finis.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. As the chairperson of the Select Committee, I'm presenting the oversight visit to the Gauteng province. The Select Committee on Social Services conducted an oversight visit in the Gauteng province from 24th to 28th February 2025. The committee visited Gauteng as part of the pilot program of the Oversight Priority Plan for the 7th Parliament. The focus of the oversight was on infrastructure development in health facilities and compassing the following: health facility requirements and status regarding upgrades, construction, or refurbishment; project management, including delays in the completion of projects and progress in the building and refurbishment of new hospitals; maintenance of facility infrastructure, including reliance on external service providers and water supply; expenditure of conditional grants, budget cuts, and misallocation of funds, and how that affects infrastructure projects and the provision of essential health services; facilities for healthcare personnel, doctors, and other hospital personnel; implication of infrastructure challenges on the provision of quality healthcare services. The report provides an overview of the areas the oversight focus on. The committee undertook oversight on sites managed by the Department of Health and Wellness in the Gauteng province. The sites were visited with role players and provincial departmental officials. This proved to be a fruitful exercise as it enabled the committee to ascertain the strength and gaps in the services reported by the department and engage with the MEC and the head of the department. The committee visited 3 metropolitan municipalities, namely the city of Johannesburg, city of Tshwane, and the city of Ekurhuleni. The committee thus conducted oversight at the Rahima Musa Mother and Child Hospital, as well as the Lillian Community Health Center in the Johannesburg Metro. The committee visited Jubilee District Hospital, Delapi Clinic, and Dr. George Kari Academic Hospital in the Tshwane Metro. In the Ekurhuleni district, the committee visited Crystal Park Clinic, Davidton Main Community Health Center, Tembisa Hospital and Tambo Memorial Hospital. It is important to note that the oversight visit was internally designed to focus on the physical infrastructure and medical equipment of identified health facilities in the province of Gauteng. In all the interaction that the committee had with the management and the health practitioners, the committee heard that despite the challenges facing the sector, the commitment to serve the public is unquestionable. The committee made actionable recommendations on how the department can improve infrastructure development of health facilities and emphasized the importance of comprehensive monitoring and reporting of progress. The recommendations that was made by the committee was in terms of the Tembisa Hospital short-term goals, introduce an electronic system in the pharmacy unit, medium to long-term goals, engage contractors to ensure compliance with statutory regulations, signage, fire safety equipment, and maintenance. Appoint additional contractors for long-term maintenance services. Address bulk storage concerns. Establish a functional on-site mid-Wi-Fi birthing unit at the district level. Rahima Musa Mother and Child Hospital, the short-term goals are replace the problematic sewer lines between the outpatient buildings and the pharmacy, divert sewer line away from collapse section, address major service issues and repair burst pipes and outdated systems, supply and install suitable uninterrupted power supply systems, service repair, supply and install split air cons and air handling units. Supply and install additional CCTV cameras to the existing system, replace the 2 central heating calorifiers as well as pumps. The medium to long-term goals is refurbish the facility and ensure it complies with the OHSC standards. In the Davidton Main Community Healthcare Center, short-term to medium-term goals, new emergency room with adequate space, renovated space for a holding area, new records room for sufficient space, address the concerns of the clinic committee, Delapi Clinic, medium to long-term goals, construct a new clinic structure that complies with ideal clinic standards. Short-term goals, purchase appropriate chairs for clinics, and patients, acquire new bulk filing cabinets for patient records, provide facility staff with mobile phones to track patients and implement an electronic filing system. In general, the moratorium of filling vacancies affects several health facilities. For instance, 2 of the hospitals visited by the committees are managed by acting facility managers. Develop a human resource plan for health that outlines when vacant positions will be filled and how the issue of acting facility managers will be resolved. The short-term goals is improve the turnaround time for addressing infrastructure requests, provide quarterly reports to the Select Committee on Health Infrastructure, structure projects, including updates on the progress of refurbishing the Jubilee Hospital as well as the Tambo Hospital. Following this oversight, the Select Committee on Social Services requests a list of its undertakings within 14 days of receiving this report, along with quarterly updates from the Gauteng Department of Health and Wellness during 2025. I thank you, Honorable Deputy Chair.
Thank you very much. We now move on to the declarations, and I'm told that there is one declaration from the Honorable Mokwele.
Thanks very much, Chair. The ANC support the report of the Select Committee on Social Services on its oversight visit to Gauteng from 24th to 28 February 2025. Honorable Mananis. The committee commends the critical services provided in this facility, such as Rahima Musa Mother and Child Hospital, which delivers approximately 15,000 babies per year. Lashuma Honorable Mudise, which is the second highest in the country after Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital. Lilian Ngoi Community Health Center, which operates 24 hours a day, and has a solar power fridge for the vaccine during power interruption, and Crystal Park Clinic, which serves more than 2,500 patients per month, including 1,629 patients on antiretroviral therapy. This facility exemplifies innovation and resilience in delivering public health care and reflect the spirit and ethos of the Freedom Charter. However, despite strides, much remains to be done in addressing key challenges such as aging and dilapidated infrastructure, non-compliance with health and safety regulation, inadequate filling and patient record system, and lack of modern medication equipment. Honourable members, the impact and necessity of our investment in health infrastructure extend beyond brick and mortar. They represent the foundation upon which we build a united and prosperous nation. Health infrastructure laid the foundation needed to drive our social transformation program and support economic growth. It is through a well-resourced, safe, and efficient facility that expecting mothers can give birth to future generations that will carry our hopes and aspirations for a better South Africa. That person with chronic illness can receive continuous care, and disease can be treated to climate the impact of public health threat. Furthermore, the committee observation underscored the imperative for the acceleration implementation of the NHI in ensuring that all our facility achievement the highest quality standard are equipped with high-end operational medication equipment, and that we have single electronic health record that will ensure efficient care in provided to patients no matter which health facility they go to.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. We shall now proceed to the voting, and the question is that the report be adopted. I now call upon the heads of delegations to vote on behalf of their provinces, and they must indicate whether they vote in favour, against, or abstain. Start with the Eastern Cape.
Aphambe namalungu abekileyo. Iphondo lengqele Eastern Cape iyawuxhasa umbiko.
Thank you. Free State.
Motlatsamodulasetulo Freistata e tshehetsa raporoto.
Thank you. Gauteng.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Gauteng supports the report.
Thank you. KwaZulu-Natal.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. KZN supports.
Thank you. Limpopo.
Ralewa, Tajam just Limpopo Retaka report from Gauteng.
Thank you. In Mpumalanga.
Thank you very much, Chair. As Mpumalanga, we're in support.
Thank you. Northern Cape.
Thank you, Chair. Standing for the Northern Cape Provincial Whip, the Northern Cape supports.
Thank you. Northwest.
Thank you very much, Deputy Chair. As Northwest, we support.
Thank you. Western Cape.
Good Chair, Western Cape supports.
Thank you very much. The voting is now closed, and honourable delegates, I indicate that all provinces supported in favor. I therefore declare the report adopted in terms of Section 65 of the Constitution. Thank you very much, honorable delegates. We now move on to the fifth order, and that is the consideration of the report of the Select Committee on Public Infrastructure and Minister in the Presidency. That was ATC'd on the 27th of March, 2025. The oversight visit to the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, PRASA, station modernization and rail corridor revitalization projects on the 12th of March, 2025. And that report is dated 26th of March, 2025. I now call upon the Honorable Bardanos, the Chairperson of the Public Infrastructure and Minister in the Presidency, to present the report on behalf of the committee.
Honorable Deputy Chair, honorable members, fellow South Africans, today it's my privilege to table the report of the Select Committee on Public Infrastructure and Minister in the Presidency on the oversight visit to PRASA, and this will be a summary. Honorable Chair, this visit forms part of our committee's contribution to the piloting of the Oversight Priority Plan, the OPP, for the 7th Parliament under Theme 4, Infrastructure Development with a specific focus on public transport. Honourable members, reliable, affordable and efficient public transport is a critical enabler of economic growth and social mobility. In a country where over 57% of the lowest income earners' wages are spent on electricity and transport, it is incumbent on this House and its committees to ensure that public transport entities such as PRASA are held to the highest standards of service delivery. PRASA, which reports to the Minister of Transport, comprises of 4 divisions: Metro Rail, Shortaloza Mail, Autopacks, and the Corporate Real Estate Solutions Unit. Our oversight focused on PRASA's rail corridor recovery, station modernization, and signalling capacity, particularly in the Western Cape Central Line. We also undertook an onboard inspection of the newly launched electric multiple unit, the EMU trains. Those are those blue trains you see on the lines at the moment. And the landmark mixed-use student accommodation and retail development at Cape Town Station. We were welcomed by the PRASA Board Chairperson, Ms. Nkolo Nokwe Makamo, and received a comprehensive briefing from the Group CEO, Mr. Hisham Imran, on PRASA's progress since the COVID-19 recovery period. Some of our key observations, Honourable Deputy Chair: in 2020, post-COVID, only 10% of PRASA's 40 commuter lines were operational. By the time of our visit, that figure has risen to 85%, a commendable recovery trajectory. Remaining non-operational corridors include the Davidton, Johannesburg, Springs, Dunswart, and Durban Stanger lines, the latter being contingent on Transnet's infrastructure rehabilitation program there. Station recovery has made strong strides despite the widespread vandalism and theft. In the Western Cape, 82% of stations are operational. In Gauteng North, 64%, Gauteng South, 44%, KwaZulu-Natal, 67%, and the Eastern Cape, 71%. These statistics reflect solid progress, albeit with uneven regional performance. Signalling remains a key constraint. Without fully functioning signalling systems, manual operations increase safety risks, limiting train frequency. Nevertheless, PRASA has restored nearly 80% signalling on the Southern Line using internal teams, which is an encouraging development, Honourable Chair. Passenger volumes at 543 million trips in 2013-14 are unlikely to recover without sustained investments. Current projections estimate 362 million annual trips by 2030 under the existing funding, well below the 600 million trip target set by the Minister of Transport. Our committee commended PRASA for restoring service along parts of the Central Line, including the segment from Nolungile Station in Khayelitsha to Cape Town Station, where we travelled on one of the new EMUs. The trains were well received by commuters, and we made an effort to talk to as many commuters as possible during this visit, Honourable Chair, with high praise for safety features such as onboard CCTV, door override systems, and public address capabilities. However, concerns were raised regarding infrequent services, which relates to signalling, and poor refund processes when trips are being cancelled. We also inspected the Loiso Village temporary relocation site for households removed from the rail reserve between Nyanga and Philippi, which were invaded during COVID. While the relocation effort is commendable, community resistance in Mitchell's Plain, where PRASA has purchased land for permanent resettlement, raises concerns. Local objections relate to overstretched schooling and healthcare infrastructure. These tensions must be carefully managed through intergovernmental cooperation. The visit concluded with a tour of PRASA's 1.2 billion rand student housing and retail development at Cape Town Station, delivered in partnership with the Eris Property Group. The build, operate, transfer model used here demonstrates how state-owned entities can leverage property assets to deliver social infrastructure and generate income. With 3,200 student beds, biometric security, and a high retail occupancy, this project is a showcase of innovation and impact. Our recommendations, Honourable Chair, Honourable Members, the committee made several critical recommendations. Intermodal transport notes process to integrate station design with a broader public transport infrastructure by ensuring clear signage, pedestrian safety, and real-time travel information delays. Signal recovery, internal capacity for signalling restoration should be expanded to reduce reliance on contractors and ensure system-wide resilience. Community participation, PRASA's use of local cooperatives for cleaning services at 9 stations is commendable and should be expanded to stimulate local economies and promote community ownership. Universal access. All stations and trains must be accessible to differently abled persons, including wheelchair-friendly infrastructure and onboard restraints. Refund systems. PRASA must urgently improve refund systems to ensure that passenger rights are protected. Preferential infrastructure access. As Transnet's infrastructure is open to third-party operators, PRASA should receive preferential pricing that reflects its public mandate without discouraging operational efficiency. The Gibela plant oversight. The committee will undertake a visit to the Gibela train manufacturing plant in Nigel. That's where the EMUs are being manufactured, Chair. While PRASA has a 67% local content target in its supply agreement, previous verification was hampered by the absence of an economic development monitor. This has now been rectified, and we await the results of the 18-month verification process. Mayfair modernisation. The committee resolved to conduct an oversight visit to the Mayfair station in Gauteng, where a major station modernisation project is underway. Labour conditions. The committee encourages PRASA to invest in its staff by ensuring adequate uniforms, protective equipment, and fostering a culture of professionalism and training. Retail compliance. PRASA must ensure that retail tenants on its concourses meet all business registration and compliance requirements. In conclusion, honourable members, our oversight revealed a PRASA that is emerging from a period of crisis and dysfunction with clear direction, renewed leadership, and tangible results. However, the road to full recovery is long, and the success will depend on stable funding, decisive leadership, cooperative governance, and sustained parliamentary oversight. In closing, I wish to express our appreciation to the chairperson of the PRASA board, Mr. Tolo Nokwe Makamo, the board members, and the executive team for their transparency and willingness to engage. I also wish to thank the members of the Select Committee for their robust participation and commitment to oversight, as well as the dedicated staff of this committee, Secretariat, whose work make these engagements possible and a pleasure. I hereby table this report for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Badenhorst, for that. And honourable members, before we proceed to voting, I shall allow provinces to make declarations in terms of Rule 86. And I've been informed that we have one declaration, and that's from the Honourable Mabebo. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. The Select Committee on Public Infrastructure and Minister in the Presidency is tabling to the House for consideration and adoption to the report of the Select Committee on the Oversight Visit to Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, PRASA, on Station Modernization and Rail Corridor Revitalization Project on the 12th of March 2025. The station modernization and the rail corridor revitalization projects were critical to restoring and enhancing logistics in the country. While the station modernization and rail corridor revitalization projects are critical for the efficient functioning of commuter rail and benefit the working class and poor. It also benefits the movement of goods and freight, as the country has a single rail network for the movement of people, goods, freight, and service. The station modernization and rail corridor revitalization will reduce the cost of transport for the working class and poor. It also enables a reduction of travel time and reduces the multiple modes of transport whilst reducing transport cost. The report indicates that much progress has been made by PRASA as post-COVID. Only 4 out of 40 lines were operational, while now 34 out of 40 lines are operational. We are expecting further progress in this financial year on station modernization, rail corridor, revitalization, and improved signaling system. It is imperative that the asset base of PRASA is revitalized and improved, protected from vandalism, as the country is capital scarce and cannot afford to rebuild the same asset. We hope that the station modernization creates opportunities for SMMEs in townships. The cost of air travel is expensive, and it is imperative that PRASA revive the long-distance train services for the benefit of the people and for tourists visiting the country. The manufacture and the new train sets is occurring in Gauteng and has created employment opportunities, and PRASA has taken delivery of over 200 train sets. We need to move.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. Your time has expired.
As the ANC, we support the report.
Thank you. Thank you. The next declaration is from the Honourable Godsal. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Honourable Chairperson and members, I rise on behalf of the DA to highlight one of the biggest challenges facing PRASA in its efforts to get our people and our economy on the move. Honourable Chair, the most critical constraint to full rail recovery is signalling. Without reliable, modernised signalling infrastructure, the entire network operates under manual authorisation. An outdated, risk-prone workaround that limits train frequency slows service speeds and undermines passenger confidence. It is no coincidence that passenger volumes, once peaking at 528 million trips per year in 2013-14, have plummeted to just 40 million in 2023-24. Sadly, as soon as we start seeing green shoots, cadre deployment seems to strike again. The 2021 signalling tender, worth over 4.5 billion rand, has been mired in delays and re-advertisements due to procurement and legal challenges. This uncertainty compromises delivery timelines and leaves critical corridors, such as Philippi to Kapteins Klip and Chris Hani, dependent on interim solutions. These include train drivers communicating on their mobile phones to avoid incidents. The knock-on effect: trains running once per hour instead of every 10 minutes, overcrowding, delays, and sadly, safety incidents. The numbers are sobering: 10 collisions, 8 derailments, and 3 level crossing incidents in the last year alone. Signalling is not just a technical system, it's the heartbeat of a functioning railway. Without it, trains crawl, collisions loom, and commuters are left stranded. It's the difference between a world-class network and a chaotic gamble. Proper signalling means you can run more trains, more often, and more safely. It cuts delays, boosts confidence, and gets South Africans to work, to school, and back home with dignity. Without it, we're not running a service, we're running a risk. And in a country where every missed train is a missed opportunity, that risk is simply unacceptable. Honourable Chair, we cannot and will not let PRASA stall at a red signal of dodgy tenders while South Africans wait on the platform of broken promises. I thank you.
Thank you very much. We now move on to the voting, and the question is that the report be adopted, and I'll call upon the heads of delegations who will vote on behalf of their provinces, either in favor, against, or they abstain. We shall start with the Western Cape.
Western Cape will support, Chair.
Thank you. Northwest,
Northwest supports, Chair.
Northern Cape.
The Northern Cape supports, Chair.
Thank you. Mpumalanga.
Thank you, Chair. Mpumalanga support.
Thank you. Limpopo.
Thank you, Chair. Limpopo support.
Thank you. KwaZulu-Natal.
Thank you, Chair. KZN supports.
Thank you. Gauteng.
Thank you, Chair. Gauteng supports.
Thank you. Free State.
Motlatsamdulastulo Dumela Free State Itsietsa report.
Thank you. Eastern Cape.
Cape supports.
Thank you very much. Honourable delegates, the voting is now closed, and I can announce that all provinces voted in favour. I therefore declare the report adopted in accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution. We shall now move on to the sixth order, that is a consideration of the joint report, the report of the Joint Standing Committee on Defence. The announcement and tablings was done on the 31st of March 2023, the midterm strategic review of the South African National Defence Force. I now have the pleasure to call upon the co-chairperson of the Joint Standing Committee on Defence, that is Honourable Phala, who will present the committee report for 10 minutes.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, honourable members. The 2023 Joint Standing Committee on Defence midterm report to Parliament on strategic review of the South African National Defence Force. The first item is the overview of the report. Joint Rule 120 subsection D outlines that the Joint Standing Committee on Defence should conduct a strategic review on the South African National Defence Force midterm review in the life of a particular Parliament and submit recommendation to both houses on transformation, integration, equity, morale, and defence readiness. The Joint Standing Committee of the Sixth Parliament carried out this function and submitted the findings in the Houses of Parliament in March 2023. One of the key recommendations of the review by the committee was that identified lack of rigorous parliamentary debate around the state of the South African National Defence Force. To remedy this, the committee recommended that both houses of Parliament should consider a debate on the status of the South African National Defence Force. 4 specific matters stood for committee during the previous Parliament and required to be covered in this debate. The first one, the broader consensus is needed on the desired role and function of the South African National Defence Force. Second point, once there is consensus, there must be appropriate funding for the South African National Defence Force to carry out its desired roles. The third, there's a need to reflect on the reduced level of force readiness of the South African SANDF, especially as it relates to its conventional role and its ability to fulfill its constitutional mandate. The fourth one, the medium to long-term acquisition and maintenance of prime mission equipment requires scrutiny. The need for strategic defense direction and appropriate funding thereof. The midterm report noted the growing role of the South African National Defence Force in both internal and external operation. This includes domestic deployment in support of other government departments, such as the response to COVID-19 pandemic, civic unrest, and natural disasters. It also highlighted the SANDF growing role to external missions like peacekeeping missions in the DRC and the SADC mission in Mozambique. While these deployments are constitutionally mandated, they place considerable strain on the SANDF, affecting its ability to maintain the defense readiness and reducing the lifespan of critical equipment due to intense usage. The internal defense management. With the future strategic direction and functioning and funding which is central to the requirements for the defense stability, the internal management of the South African National Defense Force was also raised as an area of concern in the report. It noted that expenditure patterns within the SADF have been increasingly misaligned with strategic priorities. While the budget reduction have placed undeniable pressure on the defense organization, the report stresses the improved internal controls and management of existing resources are essential. The committee also highlighted the sustained high level of fruitless, wasteful, and irregular expenditure alongside a litany of repeat findings from the Auditor General. These recurring financial management weaknesses, including the overspending on personnel costs and the lack of effective consequence management, have eroded confidence in the South African National Defence Force ability to use its limited funding efficiently. The report underscores that addressing these internal management failures is an important in securing additional resources to ensure SANDF's sustainability and effectiveness. In conclusion, the 2023 midterm report on strategic review of the SANDF was an important parliamentary benchmark exercise. It is, however, concerned that the key findings of the report remain unaddressed. This has become clear through several engagement of the Joint Standing Committee of the 7th Parliament. For example, the committee recently engaged the DoD and AMSCO on spare parts procurement for the SANDF. From the engagement, it emerged that funding and planning constraints remain a key impediment to ensuring operational aircraft and naval assets in the force. Similarly, the committee focused on engagement around defense policy by engaging experts in the field and receiving briefing from the department on the matter. It is evident that there's an urgent need for policy finalization to create certainty on the way forward. The key challenges in 2025 remains the lack of appropriate funding of the South African National Defence Force and to use the funds appropriately and responsibly. At the crux of the matter, which is crucial, Chair, is for the South Africa to reprioritize defense funding in line with the existing policy requirements as stipulated in the defense review and maintain its current defense ambitions. It is therefore important, Chair, that the issue of funding of the Defence Force is importantly looked into. I hereby table the report of the Joint Standing Committee of the 6th Administration. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We shall now proceed to voting. But before we go to voting, we will allow provinces to make declarations. And I'm being informed that we have one declaration, and that's by The Honorable Lekwase, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Deputy Chairperson. The African National Congress rises in full support of the medium strategic review of South African National Defence Force as tabled by the Joint Standing Committee on Defence. This report is more than a reflection of the SANDF's performance. It is a reaffirmation of the SANDF's central role in safeguarding our democratic gains, uplifting our youth, and building peace and stability both at home and across the African continent. We are reminded that SANDF is not only a military institution, it is a developmental force, a stabilizing presence in times of crisis, and a living symbol of our transformation agenda. From peacekeeping in the Southern Africa to disaster relief within our borders, the Defence Force remains a trusted servant of the people. The ANC applauds the progress made in transforming the SANDF to reflect the democratic values of our constitution. Through the military skills development system, many young South Africans from disadvantaged backgrounds are being equipped with skills, discipline, and a sense of civic responsibility. These programs are for building a defense force that is professional, inclusive, and people-centered. We also support the call for ethical conduct and enforcement of consequence management. Building a capable state requires a defense force that is not only disciplined in battle, but also uncompromising in ethics. We are proud of the continued inclusion and advancement of women in the ranks of the SANDF. Trailblazers like Major Mandisa Mfeka remind us of the possibilities that exist when our institutions reflect the full potential of the society. The ANC supports the call for more deliberate action to ensure gender equity and leadership opportunities for women in defense. Honorable members, the ANC supports this report and recommits to the vision of a modern, well-resourced, ethical, and development-oriented defense force that is rooted in the values of our democracy and the Constitution. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Lekwase. We now proceed to the voting, and the question is that the report be adopted. I now call upon the heads of provincial delegations to vote on behalf of their provinces. They either vote in favor, against, or abstain. Start with the Eastern Cape. The microphone, please.
Oh, sorry. Deputy Chair and honorable members, good afternoon. The Eastern Cape Province of the Legends votes in support of the report.
Thank you. The Free State.
Motlatsamodulasetulo re a leboha Freistata e tshehetsa raporoto.
Thank you. Gauteng.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Gauteng supports.
KwaZulu-Natal.
Thanks, Chair. KZN supports.
Thank you. Limpopo.
Thanks, Deputy Chair. Limpopo support.
Thank you. Mpumalanga.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mpumalanga support.
Northern Cape.
Thank you, Chair. The Northern Cape fully supports.
Thank you. Northwest.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. As Northwest, we are in favor.
Thank you. Western Cape.
The Western Cape will support, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable delegates, the voting is now closed, and I can report that all 9 provinces voted in favor. I therefore declare the report adopted in terms of accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable delegates, before I move on to the next order, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of a lovely young lady up there in the gallery, the only person visiting us today, and she is the niece of the Honorable Molokome. Her name is Khadi Makubela, who is a LLB student at UNISA. Could you stand up so that we can see you? Stand up so that we can see you. Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you for joining us, and we wish you all the best in your studies. Thank you very much. Honorable delegates, we now move on to the 7th order, and that is the consideration of the report of the Joint Standing Committee on Defence and Deployment of the South African National Defence Force in support of international obligations. That is dated on the 29th of May, and it was ATC'd on the 29th of May, 2025. I now call upon the Honorable Pala, the co-chairperson of the Joint Standing Committee, to deliver a report for 10 minutes.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon once again, honorable members. Chair, the deployment of South African National Defence Force in support of international obligations dated 29th of May 2025. In terms of Joint Rule 156, subsection 1 of Parliament, joint rules require that Joint Standing Committee on Defence to report to both houses of Parliament, to both houses on employment of South African National Defence Force by the President of the Republic in fulfillment of the international obligation. On the 29th May, the committee considered 3 such deployments. The report was only to be noted by the Houses of Parliament, since the Joint Standing Committee did not object to or recommend the withdrawal of any of these deployments, as they are crucial for broader regional stability in our region, Southern Africa. The first one is that the committee should consider the deployment of the South African National Defence Force in support of the SADC mission in the DRC. The committee noted that the withdrawal of the SNDF was underway and that this has since been concluded successfully. The safe withdrawal of all SNDF forces and equipment under Operation Tiba is welcomed. However, the security situation in the Eastern DRC remains serious, and the international efforts to ensure peace is crucial. Secondly, the committee supports the continued deployment of SANDF as part of the United Nations stabilization mission in the area. Thirdly, the committee supports the SANDF deployment under the Operation Copa in Mozambique, in Mozambican Channel, to ensure the safe passage of vessels to ensure security at the sea. While the committee expressed its support, these deployments must be seen in the context of declining defense capabilities, as highlighted in the Joint Standing Committee 2023 midterm strategic review of the SNDF. For the SNDF to remain a force capable of contributing to the regional peace and security, urgent investment in the country's defense and capabilities must be prioritized. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Before we proceed to voting, I shall now allow provinces the opportunity to make their declarations in terms of Rule 86. And I've been told that there is a declaration from the Honorable Lekwase. You have 3 minutes.
Honorable Deputy Chair, the African National Congress rises to support the report of the Joint Committee on Defense regarding the deployment of the SANDF to the Democratic Republic of Congo under the SADC mission known as Operation Tiba. Although SANDF has since completed its deployment and withdrawn from the DRC, it is important that Parliament acknowledges and affirms the role played by our soldiers in promoting peace, security, and regional solidarity. The deployment of 2.9 members of the SANDF was a necessary and timely response to a complex crisis affecting millions of civilians in the Eastern DRC. We commend the President and the only Commander-in-Chief for acting decisively to support the regional peace efforts, for exercising his constitutional mandate in keeping Parliament informed. We also thank the committee for its oversight and its call for greater clarity on the operational mandate, such as accountability, strengthens democratic defense governance. Our troops have returned home with honor, having upheld the values of the Republic in a mission aligned with our foreign policy vision for a peaceful and integrated continent. Their service must be recognized and appreciated by all South Africans. The ANC supports the committee's report and salutes the men and women of the South African Defence Force for their discipline and dedication during their deployment. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Lekwase. We have another declaration, and that's from the Honorable Badanos. You have 3 minutes.
Honourable Deputy Chair, while the DA supports this report, the lack of operational readiness, both during and after the deployment, must be decried. Poor planning plagued our men and women and contributed to the loss of lives. The withdrawal of South African troops from the Democratic Republic of the Congo was a national embarrassment, which shone a spotlight on the SANDF's leadership failure to organize basic logistics. A further embarrassment is the delay in paying certain allowances to SANDF soldiers and the failure to date to pay others. The DA supports the decision to call for a full exit report, but such a report must lead to accountability. I so move.
Thank you very much, Honorable Badanos. We shall now proceed to voting, and the question is that the report be adopted. I now call upon the heads of delegations who will vote on behalf of their provinces, either in favor, against, or abstain. Shall start with Limpopo.
Thanks, Deputy Chair. As Limpopo, we support.
Thank you. Mpumalanga.
Thank you, Chair. Mpumalanga support.
Northern Cape.
As the Northern Cape, we support, Chair.
Thank you. Northwest.
As Northwest, we support, Chair.
Thank you. Western Cape.
Western Cape supports the report.
Thank you. KwaZulu-Natal.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. KZN supports.
Thank you. Gauteng.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Gauteng supports.
Thank you. Free State.
Ga leboha motlatsamodulasetulo Freistata ya tshehetsa raporoto.
Thank you. Eastern Cape.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. The Eastern Cape will vote in support.
Thank you very much, honorable delegates. The voting is now closed, and I can announce that all 9 provinces voted in favor. I therefore declare the report adopted in accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable delegates, we now proceed to the 8th order, and that is the consideration of the report of the Joint Standing Committee on Defense and the Portfolio Committee on Defense and Military Veterans, which was ATC'd on the 29th of May 2025. And the oversight visit to Denel, Arms Corps, the Department of Military Veterans, the One Military Hospital, the Defense College, and the Tabatswane Military Accommodation in Pretoria, Gauteng Province, between the 24th to the 28th of March, and that was dated the 29th of May. I now have the pleasure to call upon once again the Honorable Phala to deliver this committee's report. You have 10 minutes.
Thank you, Chair, once again. The oversight visit to Denel, AMSCO, the Department of Military Veterans, One Military Hospital, the Defense College, Tabatswane Military Accommodation in Pretoria, Gauteng, on the 24th, from the 24th to the 28th of March 2025. The Joint Standing Committee on Defense and the Portfolio Committee on Defense and Military Veterans conducted a joint oversight visit to Denel Landward System, Denel Pretoria Metal Processing, the Department of Military Veterans, One Military Hospital, selected Tabatswane Military Accommodation units, and the Defense College from the 24th to the 28th of March 2025. The visit was primarily aimed at familiarizing the committee with the work of the South African National Defense entities with the Department of Defense, namely AMSCO and Denel. The visit to the Denel was of specific importance since the entity was only recently transferred to the defense portfolio and will now fall under the oversight of, among others, the Joint Standing Committee. The visit to One Military Hospital was based in the long-standing delays in finalizing the refurbishment project at the hospital, while visiting military accommodation was linked to the Joint Standing Committee's constitutional mandate to oversee the accommodation conditions of our soldiers. Some key findings related to the areas visited included the following. At AMSCO, the committee noted strong research facilities with young, skilled staff, but lacked a retention strategy and alignment with the South African National Defence Force research and development. The committee was also expressed concern with the encouragement of informal settlements on the AMSCO Geotech facility. The matter has since been taken up with various departments but by the Portfolio Committee on Defence. Denial reflected an entity in urgent need of stabilization. On key concern was Project Hoofyster that stalled despite 7 billion spent. Poor oversight and management persist with regard to this program, and the committee recommended an urgent final decision on the future of the project. At one military hospital is operating at 40% capacity due to stall refurbishment with over 1 billion spent, but little progress. Outsourcing of critical service is costly. The hospital functioning more like a clinic. Staff morale is at the very low levels, and the committee urged urgent intervention by the executive. The Tabatswane accommodation observation included that the Brown Flats and Albertina Susulum mares are at severe disrepair, and relocation and refurbishment plans are unclear. The committee undertook to follow up on the matter and urgent SNTF to make sure that appropriate contractors are appointed and that the project be finished within the stipulated time limits. With regard to the Defence College located at St. George's Hotel, it was concluded by the committee that it was unsuitable and costly to maintain. The operational challenges included the poor Wi-Fi, limited staff, and inadequate facilities for military institution. The institution is not worth calling it a military institution to train the senior officers of our South African National Defence Force. In summary, the concerns observed by the committee links to the broader concerns around the South African National Defence Force as highlighted by the Joint Standing Committee midterm report of 2023. The defence entities such as AMSCO and DINEL operate at a reduced capacity due to limited spending on defence. Furthermore, the defence infrastructure such as one military hospital, the Defence College, and the accommodations comes under increasing pressure due to limit investment in revamping and the maintenance. It is therefore again raises the central question about which defence ambitions the country must follow and how this should be funded. I hereby table this report of the Joint Standing Committee of the 7th Administration. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Before we proceed to voting, I shall allow provinces the opportunity to make declaration in terms of Rule 86. And I'm told that there is a declaration from Honorable Ekwase. You have 3 minutes.
The African National Congress welcomes in full support the report of the Joint Oversight Visit undertaken by Joint Standing Committee on Defence and the Portfolio Committee on Defence and Military Veterans from the 24th to the 28th of March 2025. This oversight visit reflected Parliament's commitment to ensuring accountability, improving service delivery, and revitalizing both our defence force and support for military veterans. We commend the committees for their thorough work and spirit of constructive engagement. We are especially encouraged by the innovative work being done at Gerotech and AMSCO Technopark, where a new generation of scientists, engineers, and defense professionals are demonstrating South Africa's capabilities in research, development, and technological innovation. These examples offer hope and tangible proof that the right to support our institutions can lead to defense excellence. The ANC acknowledges areas identified for urgent attention, including the infrastructure challenges at One Mill Hospital, the incomplete military veterans database, the operational issues at Denel and PMP. These matters require focused coordination and leadership, which we are confident that they can be achieved with the implementation of the report's recommendation. We further support the call for enhanced interdepartmental collaboration in upgrading Tabatswani and accelerating infrastructure projects under repair and maintenance program. These initiatives are not only vital for improving working and living conditions of our soldiers, but also for restoring pride and dignity in the broader defense environment. The ANC reiterates its support for all efforts aimed at professionalizing the SANDF and ensuring that our military veterans are honored not only in word, but through sustained, efficient service delivery. We support this report and we thank the committees for their work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't see any other declarations. So now we shall proceed with the voting, and the question is that the report be adopted, and I call upon provinces to vote either in favor, against, or abstain. We start with the Eastern Cape.
Adjunct voorzitter. Die oorskap stem ten gunste van die verslag.
Baie dankie. We shall now move on to the Free State.
Motlatsamdula ra leboha Free State e tshehetsa report.
Thank you. Gauteng.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Gauteng supports.
Thank you. KwaZulu-Natal.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. KZN supports.
Thank you. Limpopo.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Limpopo support.
Thank you. Mpumalanga.
Thank you, Chair. Mpumalanga support.
Northern Cape.
Dankie ondervoorsitter, die Noord-Kaap ondersteun.
Thank you. Northwest.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Northwest supports.
Thank you. Western Cape.
Dankie ondervoorsitter, die Wes-Kaap sal ondersteun.
Dankie, Honorable Meneer. Honorable members, the voting is now closed, and I can report that all 9 provinces voted in favor, and therefore I declare the report adopted in accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable delegates, we now move on to the 9th order, and that is the consideration of the report of the Select Committee on Cooperative Governance and Public Administration. The tablings was done on the 21st of June. The consideration of the 2023-2024 General Consolidated Report on Local Government Audit Outcomes dated the 10th of June 2025. I now have the pleasure to call upon the Honorable T.M. Kaunda, the Chairperson of the Select Committee on Cooperative Governance and Administration, to present his report. Honorable Kaunda, you have 10 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chairperson. Good afternoon to all honorable members and all those who are in our platform. Fellow South Africans, on the 29th of May 2025, the Auditor General of South Africa briefed members of the Select Committee on the 23rd, 24th General Consolidated Report on Local Government Audit Outcomes. The presentation focused on the state of local government, dealing with overall audit outcomes, risks to municipal service delivery, metropolitan municipalities' material irregularities, a call to action for all role players in the accountability ecosystem to address the root causes of municipal failures, the state of local government in each of the 9 provinces, an audit fact sheet that provides information on audits that audit had performed, and an explanation of the numbers of used in the report. Honorable Chairperson, the Auditor General reported that the trend of poor audit outcomes continued, with regressions offsetting improvements. Out of 257 municipalities, 41 municipalities obtained unqualified with no findings, which is clean audit. 99 unqualified with findings, 90 qualified with findings, 6 adverse with findings, 11 disclaimed with findings, and 10 with outstanding audits. According to the 2023-2024 report, since 2020-2021, the audit outcomes of some provinces have regressed. Some have remained the same and some have improved, but the overall status continues to be far from desirable. But we must commend, Honorable Chairperson, the municipalities that have improved, since if you look at the disclaimers, they were around 48, but they are now 14, standing at 40. On audit outcomes, Honorable Chair, the Auditor General raised concerns in certain municipalities on how they are responding. On municipalities that repeatedly submit financial statements and performance reports late, the Auditor General reported on municipalities in provinces that repeatedly submit financial statements and performance reports late. These include Ubuntu Local Municipality in Northern Cape Province, Makadu Local Municipality in Limpopo, Mafube, Kopanong, Mohukare, Masilonyane, and Maluti Apufong, local municipalities in Free State. According to the Auditor General, the failure of the municipalities to submit late financial statements and performance reports has contributed to the failure in transparency and accountability for funds used and service delivered. The ineffective use of consultants for financial reporting, the Auditor General reported on the ineffective usage of consultants by municipalities for financial reporting. In terms of the report, Auditor General raised the reasons for appointing consultants in 111 municipalities, included lack of skills, high vacancy rate in 16 municipalities, and combination of lack of skills and vacancies in 92 municipalities. On the performance planning, the Auditor General reported on the status and findings of performance planning and reporting for service delivery in municipalities. The key observations mentioned by Auditor General relate to continued reliance on audit process, material findings on compliance with legislation on strategic planning and performance management, material findings on performance reports, lack of reliability of 36% of reported achievements, and 24% of indicators and targets not well defined, verifiable or measurable. Then the following recommendations were then made by Auditor General. The Auditor General indicated that in the previous general report and through engagements with national and provincial and municipal leadership across the country, she called on all role players in the local government accountability ecosystem to work deliberately and with agents towards a culture of performance, accountability, transparency, and institutional integrity. The Auditor General indicated that only a year remains for mayors, speakers, and council members of municipalities to leave a legacy of improved governance and service delivery, and there is still much to be done to address the root causes that are holding back progress. Then the committee therefore recommends as follows. Having considered the report, that the Auditor General to table to the NCOP a material irregularities report and law enforcement agencies, SIU, Hawks, and NPA to table report on the status of investigations, opening of criminal cases, and prosecutions in terms of material irregularities. That the coordinating institutions, namely premiers, MECs for cooperative governance, MECs for provincial treasuries, to develop and intensify mechanisms to reduce over-reliance by municipalities. That the MECs of Northwest, Eastern Cape and Northern Cape, Free State and Limpopo province treasuries, departments of cooperative governance, they need to brief the select committee during the 2025 parliamentary second and third term on the Section 47 reports. That the Minister of the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, in line with the provisions of Section 134 of the Municipal Finance Management Act, to collaborate with the MECs of local government and South African local government associations to provide post-audit support interventions in terms of Section 154. That the National and Provincial Department of Cooperatives, Governance and Regional Affairs, as well as national provincial treasuries and MECs, to strengthen their monitoring responsibilities to ensure the functionality of oversight committees in the municipalities. That the coordinating institutions, as we have mentioned them above, to help municipalities in the Eastern Cape, Limpopo, Northern Cape, Northwest, and Free State provinces to reduce their reliance on the usage of consultants. That's the national provincial departments of cooperative governance, as well as South African local government, to implement framework on professionalization of the public service as approved by Cabinet in November 2022. That the Department of Cooperative Governance, Regional Affairs, National Treasury, in collaboration with departments of provincial at a provincial level in SALGA, to ensure that functionalities of the municipal public account committees, MPEC, and financial misconduct disciplinary boards through capacity building initiatives to ensure consequence management, accountability, understanding of legislation as well. That the role players within the accountability ecosystem to ensure the institutionalization and the implementation of district development model. That the local government and metropolitan municipalities must ensure the implementation of the consequence management and spending of MIG by all municipalities, USDG by metros, and disaster funds by all municipalities fully. That the Department of Cooperative Governance and Regional Affairs should fast-track the implementation of the record management projects in selected municipalities to assist with the development and strengthening of record management practices to help municipalities improve their audit outcomes and reduce a number of disclaimed audit opinions. Lastly, that the Minister of Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs should, during the 2025 parliamentary fourth term, table to NCOP the Section 48 report on the state of local government in terms of the legislation requirement of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act of 2000. So the committee in majority accepted and adopted this report, and we work very well with all members of this committee. They are very supportive in leading this committee with our whip of the committee, Honorable Molokome, our team that supports us, and all honorable members. You always approve and adopt our reports, as you are going to do now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kaunda. Before we proceed to voting, I will allow provinces the opportunity to make declarations in terms of Rule 86. And I've been told that there's a declaration. Honorable Molokome, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Chairperson. The Auditor General report has time to time again shown signs on progress and transitions on how the state institution and spheres of government conduct its government functions. And the committee has received this report with concerns. The report shows both gross irregularities and successes. The functioning of the state is highly dependent on fiscal discipline, following the rules and upholding good governance. The ANC holds the view that a capable, ethical, capable developmental state is the one that has internal capacity to discharge its duties without relying on outsiders. And this, we always emphasize that the municipality should do the audit inside without using the consultants. Therefore, the over-reliance on consultants in local government is a cause of concern, while they recognize that spheres of government must create business opportunities that must not be done in a way that allows the state capacity. The 7 metros, according to the AG, did not receive clean audits. Some received unqualified audit with findings, while others obtained disclaimers with findings. The following are issues that we as the ANC believe that we emphasize time to time, and we are saying municipalities must execute project on time and remove politicians from infrastructure project. 2, compliance with the key legislations. 3, prevention of unauthorized, irregular, and or fruitless expenditures. We need to improve consequence management and also improve post-audit outcomes plans. And as the ANC chair, we like to say we support this report. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. There being no further declarations, we shall now proceed to voting. And the question is that the report be adopted. I now call upon the heads of delegations to vote either in favor, against, or they abstain on behalf of their provinces. We shall start with the Western Cape.
Western Cape will support, Chair.
Thank you. Northwest.
Northwest supports.
Thank you. Northern Cape.
Northern Cape supports, Chair.
Thank you. Mpumalanga.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mpumalanga support.
Thank you. Limpopo.
Limpopo support.
Thank you. KwaZulu-Natal.
KwaZulu-Natal support.
Thank you. Gauteng.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. With the new dawn, Gauteng supports.
Thank you. Free State.
Motlatsa modulasetulo re itebohela Freistata e amohela raporoto.
Thank you. Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape supports.
Thank you very much. The voting is now closed, and I can declare that all 9 provinces voted in favor. I therefore declare the report to be adopted in accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable delegates, we now proceed to the 10th and 11th orders, and that is the consideration of the report of the Joint Committee on Ethics and Members' Interests on the contravention of the Code of Ethical Conduct and Disclosure of Members' Interests. Honorable Fidel Adams, MP, the announcement and tablings was done on the 2nd of July 2025, and the consideration of the report of the Joint Committee on Ethics and Members' Interests on the alleged contravention of the Code of Ethical Conduct and Disclosures of Members' Interests, the Honorable Mikato Golden Malule, MP, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy, ATC, on the 2nd of July 2025. Honorable members, I call upon the chairperson of the Joint Committee on Ethics and Members' Interests, the Honorable Brits. You have 10 minutes to present the report. My schedule says 10 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chair. Members, I'm going to table 2 reports today. Now, the first is the Joint Committee on Ethics and Member Interests considered a complaint against the Honorable Mahlaule, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Mineral and Petroleum Resources. And the committee reports as follows. Mr. Christopher Ratledge, the Executive Director of MACUA, the Mining Affected Communities United in Action, and the Women Affected by Mining United in Action, lodged a complaint against Honorable Golden Mahlaule, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy. The Office of the Registrar of Members' Interest received the complaint on the 8th of April for an alleged breach of the Code of Ethical Conduct and Members' Interests. The complainant states that the member violated the Constitution, the Code, and the rules and duties of Parliament. This allegation is made in the context of the Portfolio Committee meeting that was held on the 1st of April 2025. The complainant asks that a formal investigation be conducted in relation to the misleading statements made on the 1st of April 2025 concealing MACUA's formal submissions, testimony, offers and evidence regarding the DMPR and ASMANG and apparent interference by the Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources. The complainant requires of the Portfolio Committee to adopt and implement a transparent and inclusive stakeholder engagement protocol, which must include early and public notice of oversight visits and hearings. There must be a standing list of community organizations and affected constituencies who are notified in advance so as to treat stakeholders equally. In his response, the member stated that the claims of impropriety made by the complainant against him are bereft of any merit and lack factual and legal basis. The member states that the complainants fail to understand the oversight role of the committee. The member states that there is therefore no factual or legal foundation for the complaint. The committee deliberated on the complaints. The committee noted that the complainant is housed in the context of the work of the Portfolio Committee of Minerals and Petroleum Resources. The information at the disposal of the committee confirms that the chairperson acted in accordance with the scope and function as the chairperson and has duly actioned the necessary resolutions and decisions of the committee. This includes the position on the request for information of letter dated 4 December 2024. The committee noted that it appears that a complainant has misconstrued the role of the chairperson, as well as the fact that the committee program is a determined one and not one that the chairperson can unilaterally change. Also, that the complainant in relation to the legal minors is a joint task between the Portfolio Committee of Minerals and Petroleum Resources, as well as Portfolio Committee on Police. The committee found that the chairperson did not contravene the provisions of item 5.1a to F of the Code. In relation to sections 55.2 and 59.1 of the Constitution, that these are provisions that relate to the committee and not to the chairperson in his individual capacity and therefore do not fall within the jurisdiction of the committee. The committee found that the complaint is unfounded and that the member did not breach the code. Honourable Deputy Chair, I hereby table this report for information. Coming to the second report, the Joint Committee on Ethics and Members' Interest considered a complaint against the Honourable Fadil Adams and reports as follows. The Honourable George Mikalakis, the Chief Whip of the DA, lodged a complaint against the Honourable Fadil Adams of the National Coloured Congress, the NCC. The Office of the Registrar received the complaint on the 5th of March 2025 for an alleged breach of the code. The complainant states that on the 18th of February of this year, the member posted a 9-minute video on Facebook, the social media post. In the video, the member carried on in an outburst against coloured people, the Mackenzie family, a lady, the DA, and the Mayor of Cape Town. He uttered extreme vulgar and foul language, which I will not repeat here, containing swear words, and contained in the report that was ATC. The honourable members can read all these filth for themselves. In response by the member added fuel to the fire and continued his outburst. He did, however, expressed his sorry for his outburst. In deliberation, The committee noted that the member does not deny the content of the social media post and does not deny that he is the person who uttered the words. The content of the social media post is derogatory, racist, and sexist. The language used by the member brings Parliament into disrepute. The member, however, places the utterances in context of the stress that he was experiencing and trying to protect his children from possible gang retaliation. The committee noted that the member could have expressed his anger in a better way and not in the vulgar and derogatory manner that he did. The committee found that the member breached item 9.1 and 9.2 of the code. The member was informed of the breach as requested to provide written representation to the committee. The member did not provide any representation on the penalty. The committee was alarmed at the extremely vulgar and derogatory language used by the member towards particularly the women in the video footage. Recommendation by the Committee on Penalty. The committee recommends to this Honourable House to impose the following penalties: a reprimand in the House, and that the member enter an apology in the House to the public, to the women that he referred to in the Facebook post for the derogatory, racist and vulgar language that he used during the Facebook video, and that the member be suspended from his seat in Parliament, from all the parliamentary debates and committees for a period of 15 days, that the member's salary and allowances be reduced by an amount equal to 15 days, and that the member attend a consultation with the Speaker of the National Assembly, the co-chairpersons of the Ethics Committee, and the acting registrar for discussions on the ethical conduct required of a member of Parliament. The committee wishes to remind members of item 5.1 of the code, which states that a member must abide by the principles, rules, and obligations of the code, uphold the oath or affirmation taken by members in terms of the Constitution, acts on all occasions in accordance with the public trust placed in you, placing the public interest above your own interest when discharging your obligations in terms of the Constitution to Parliament and to the public at large. Maintain public confidence and trust in the integrity of Parliament, and thereby engender respect and confidence that society needs to have in Parliament as a representative institution, and in your performance of your duties and responsibilities. Be committed to eradicate all forms of discrimination. We also remind members that item 9 of the code provides as follows: a member must not bring Parliament into disrepute when using, engaging in, or communicating content on social media platforms. A member who is addressing another member or member of the public on social media platforms must not use derogatory, racist, or sexist language or content that is derogatory, racist, or sexist. A member, when using social media platforms, may not incite violence or promote hate speech. And lastly, when engaging in content on social media platforms, a member may not like, share, or comment on content that is derogatory, racist, sexist, or promotes violence or hate speech in order to promote such content. Honourable Deputy Chair, I hereby table this report for consideration.
Thank you very much for tabling both those reports. Honourable members, I've been told that there were no declarations on this item. So now we shall proceed to voting, and that is the question is whether the report be adopted. I now call upon provinces to cast their votes, and the heads of delegations may vote either in favor, against, or abstain on behalf of their provinces. Start with the Eastern Cape.
Masisibulisele kuwe Sekela Sihlalo.
Iphondo lengcwele liyayisupport. Enkosi.
Thank you. Pre-state.
Ha re lebohe motlatsamodulasetulo Freistata e tshehetsa reporoto ena.
Thank you. Gauteng.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Gauteng support.
Thank you. KwaZulu-Natal.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Let me thank Honorable Majola. I'm now recalling the powers. KZN supports.
Thank you. Limpopo.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Limpopo support our report. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Kaunda, you've noted that you didn't get the kind of applause that Honorable Majola got. We now move on to Mpumalanga.
Thank you, Chair. Mpumalanga support.
Thank you. Northern Cape.
Thank you, Chair. The Northern Cape support.
Thank you. Northwest.
Thank you, Chair. Northwest support.
Thank you. Western Cape.
Chair, the Western Cape will support.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I can declare that all 9 provinces voted in favor, and therefore the report be adopted in accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution. That being done, we now move on to the 11th order, and that in terms of Rule 86. Sorry. We move on. We now proceed to the voting. The voting has been done, and now we move on to the 11th order, and that is the question. I'm just trying to read through this here. I don't see the 11th order.
11th order. So we are voting now.
All right. No, thank you very much. We shall now proceed to the voting on the 11th order, and that is the question that the report be adopted. I now call upon provinces to cast their votes. When called upon, heads of delegations must cast their votes either in favor, against, or abstain. We shall now start with the Eastern Cape.
Cape, Chair and Honourable Members vote in support.
Thank you. Free State.
Deputy Chairperson, Free State support.
Thank you. Gauteng.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Hoi hoi.
Is that in favor? Thank you. KwaZulu-Natal.
Siyabonga sihlalo. iKwaZulu-Natal iyawaseka lo mbiko.
Thank you. Limpopo.
Thank you, Chair. Limpopo support.
Thank you. Mpumalanga.
Chair, Mpumalanga support.
Thank you. Northern Cape.
Thank you, Chair. We support the second report.
Northwest.
Thank you, Chair. Northwest supports.
Thank you. Western Cape.
Chair, the Western Cape will support this report as well.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, the voting is now closed, and all 9 provinces supported both the reports. I therefore declare the report adopted in accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution. Honourable delegates, I'd like to thank all honourable delegates, any MECs that were present, all special delegates and SALGA representatives for availing themselves for the sitting today. Honourable delegates, that concludes the business of the day. The House is now adjourned.
Recording stopped.